Hi, so we've just had a fabulous few days in Bangkok and now we are on our way to Krabi, and we decided that why fly for an hour or two when you can take a 10.5 hour train journey. So here we are on the train. It's 7:30 in the evening and we're due to arrive at Surat Thani at 6:30 in the morning. So yeah, have a little look at our home for the next 10-11 hours.
You ain't going to get in if you're not on wide angle.
Hello, Paul.
Hello.
So we've got an upper bunk, little basket, light, plug sockets and USBs, somewhere for your bag, little aircon, some water, sink with a fresh bar of soap, and then the lower bunk, much the same. There is
this is first class.
This is first class, yeah. Second class is just a row of beds. Adjoining door, so if you were with friends you could have the cabin next door to each other.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hi, so just a quick update from the train journey. It is the next day now. We arrived on the train yesterday morning, and getting on the train I was quite apprehensive that I was not going to get any sleep, and Paul was quite chill about it, saying yeah, we'll be fine. And actually it was the other way around. Paul didn't sleep very well at all and I slept not too bad. I mean, I'm not going to say it was the best sleep of my life. You are on a moving train, so there's lots of like movement, and then there's stops, loads of stops actually through the night, so you wake up to like a jolt as he took off, and then the announcements in the station, but it was okay. A few things to mention. We were in the first class compartment. There is a restaurant car, but if you're in those individual compartments, somebody will come around with a menu. I mean, he handed the menu and then stood with his pen poised, so it was a bit of a rush decision, and we went for prawn fried rice, shrimp fried rice, and I'll pop a picture in. It comes, there's loads of food actually. We got a broth soup to start with no description, and there was obviously pieces of tofu in there, so I started to eat it and then found a roe piece of chicken. I don't know, I think it was actually a chicken soup that also had tofu in it. So luckily I do eat fish. I don't eat meat because it's not something that really appeals to me that much, but there's no real reason behind it. So having tucked into a few spoonfuls of chicken soup, it wasn't the end of the world for me, but I can imagine for some people it would be. So I guess if you're there choosing and the man's poised with his pen, just take your time and pick carefully if you have dietary requirements to be aware of. You know, there was a big picture, then there was some small Thai writing, and then underneath that there was some even smaller English writing. But yeah, just take your time and choose carefully. Anyway, what else was there? There was the prawn fried rice, there was some spring rolls with a dipping sauce, there was a salad with some dressing on like a coleslaw type thing, and some watermelon and a drink of juice. And it was all delicious. It was actually massive. We both left quite a lot. We could have probably got away. No, we easily could have got away with one between the two of us. Now, on the train, we had read and heard that there's no alcohol served. So when he offered us, do you want to buy a beer? We were pleasantly surprised and we bought one. And here's a picture of what it was. Alcohol-free beer, which was no biggie in the end. In fact, I didn't drink mine. Paul had his. It was no loss. The toilets. So we had two to choose from. One was a squat toilet, which I didn't take a picture of, and the other one was this one, which was your toilet and your shower. It was clean, I guess. There's no way I would have showered in there personally, but it was okay for using the toilet, and I felt perfectly safe getting up in the night to go and nip to the loo. That was not a problem. What else to say? There were no announcements, so we left an hour late. So I anticipated we'd perhaps be late getting in. So we were due in at 6:23 in the morning. So we figured we'd be due in maybe about 7ish, somewhere after there. So we'd set our alarms to get up and be ready. And at 6:15 there was a bang on the door from a guy saying Surat, Surat, letting us know that we were about to pull into Surat Thani, at which point we were both still in bed and Paul was still asleep. Luckily we had slept in our clothes and we hadn't taken really much out at all, just some wet swimming costumes that we'd wanted to dry. So we very quickly threw everything together and we were fine, but it did throw us a bit. So yeah, even if you are late leaving, you're probably going to get in on time. And as I say, there were no announcements to let us know what the previous stations we'd been to. We just got the knock on the door when it was our station coming up. As an experience, it was fantastic. I mean, we didn't sleep the best, but I'm still really glad we did it. Would I be brave enough to sleep in the corridor of like bunk beds? Probably not, no, 100% not. But with our own little compartments where we could shut and lock the door, it was great. We got off at Surat Thani and then we had to get down to Krabi. We chose to take a taxi. It was a bit more pricey, but we just wanted to get to the hotel because we were tired. We used Bolt. Now, luckily, Paul had priced it up the day before and it had come out at about 2,500 baht, I think. So that's what we had agreed we would be happy to pay. When we pulled into Surat Thani on the Bolt app, it had dropped down to 1,000 baht, which we were amazed at. But Paul had also read that sometimes they can private message you and ask to put the price up. So we were prepared. We knew what it had cost the night before and we were prepared that he might put it up, and he did. But we'd already agreed what we were happy to pay. So when he put it up, it went up to 2,300 baht, which was about 55, 57 pounds, something like that, for a 2.5 hour air-conditioned private taxi to our hotel. So for us, that was worth every penny. If that's not your thing, you can get minibuses from there. I was worried arriving at 6 o'clock in the morning, everywhere was going to be asleep, but you step off the train out of the station and there are taxi drivers aplenty, there are minibus drivers aplenty, you know, there's buses there, it's all going on. You don't need to worry about pulling in and finding your way. There was some little shops opposite. We found a really nice coffee shop and just went and had a coffee, used the nice toilet before we got going. And yeah, then we came and arrived at our next resort, and a video about that will be coming up at some point shortly. Anyway, thanks for watching and enjoy your travels. And if you do get the train, let me know what you think of it. Take care. Bye.